Here was cracking, you guys. What's going on? Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? We are on a little bit earlier today because I got some work things I need to do. And we're not going to break the 100 days of live streaming, right? No, because we have 82 days to go. We are 18 days in. What's going on with everybody? Hey, hey, hey. What's up with you guys? How are you guys doing today? Trouble is in the house. You already know. Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie, thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. I got this is like my bank networking. What's happening with this hoodie here? Oh, I gotta move this way. Networking what is it? Business casual attire. I did my hair today. I got my smart looking glasses. Evie, hey girl. What's going on? How are you? All is reminding everyone, if you have a question for India, for me, moi, your question should look like this with a Q colon in front of it. Otherwise, it's just a comment and I may not get to it. And we don't want that to happen. I want to make sure I get to all of your questions and all of the conversations. Turn my heater off. All right. We're going to be talking about Calendly today. Oh, and I have a story for you of what happened. And I was so set on why you don't necessarily need to use Calendly. They set me up. That's all right, though. It's good to have options, right? Evie says, Mama's already tired. Just started my boss, your business cohort nailed a discovery call. That's what I'm talking about. Yay, yay. Felicia is in the house. How are you today? Felicia, how was your trip to Paris? I was loving the pictures, loving the street photography that you took. Glad you made it safe and sound. I'm sure that you loved it. I was living vicariously through you. I cannot wait for me to go there this summer. Todd, Christmas Clatter is here.
Ho, ho, ho.
How you doing today, Todd? What is going on? I love that. That always makes me smile. I hope you know, Todd, that makes me smile. So we are going to be doing Calendly today, and I came on extremely earlier, much earlier than what my scheduled time is, because we have an employee resource group networking mixer. And so I tried to put on my smart looking clothes today, my cute little hoodie. I did my hair, washed my hair this morning, made sure my curls were nice and tight. Got my smart looking glasses so I can go network and show them the salesperson. That is me. I really didn't know what else to say with that, but you know, I have to go be business professional. Go be the business banker. The joys. We're doing Top Golf, which I love Top Golf. And if you guys don't know what Top Golf is, it's like this bar golfing place that you have targets and you just hit the ball as far as possible. And they have different games. Like they do like Angry Birds. Look it up, Top Golf. Going to the one in Edison. It's an hour away from me. So that is why I had to switch up the time today. And so I'm so grateful that you guys are here showing support, because it's an hour away from my house. It's in Central Jersey. And so I have to leave by 5 because I tend to be on time, especially when the senior vice president of retail will be there, my boss's boss's boss. So I need to make sure that I'm there and responsible, and I sit on the cabinet. I'm the secretary of this particular employee resource group is for the LGBTQ plus. We won't get into that. That's a conversation for a whole nother day. Community. And so I have to make sure that I am there on time or at least 10 or 15 minutes early so we can mingle with the cabinet and then be there for all of the other members that are there ahead of time and get situated. So an hour away, the networking event starts at 6:30. I'm going to leave at 5 so that it gives me more than enough time because I have to get on the New Jersey Turnpike. I have to get on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, then into 95, the New Jersey Turnpike. And although I should be going in the opposite way of traffic because I'm going up north instead of coming south, but still. And so it's from 6:30 to 8:30, the event. And I did consider, this was way before I had the subjects for this week. I did consider doing a live stream from like a section of Topgolf, but then knowing the content that we were going to be going over, I was like, I can't do that from like a corner in the bar. Like, no. So let me just check in on you guys. Yes, I am early, Facebook user, and you know the deal, Facebook user. Come hang out with us here in YouTube because that's where the cool kids hang out. David Blackman, what is going on? How are you? Just wanted to hop on early. Definitely crazy for 100 days in a row. Listen, we are day 18, 82 days to go. I am committed to this consistency. I can't give up now, right? Like 18 days in on Saturday makes 20 days. So that's it. Now I just got to finish. Evie says, automated calendar for the win. I'm glad that it makes you smile. Todd, that's good. Alicia says, it's super cool. Have decided to go back every 2 years, I think. So it'll be, if all goes well with the trip with me and Angie this summer for my 40th birthday, it'll be my third time going. And the first time I went with my mom, absolutely loved it. I fell in love with the city. I said that had I gone to Paris when I was in my early 20s and before I was like committed in my career, I think I would have stood there. I think I would have just like figured it out and I don't know, done something. Hey girl, hey, Angie's getting ready for work. She's going to go do her nursing things because Angie is a nurse. And so when she does pick up some shifts, she is one of our frontline workers. So be safe, girl. Love you. Talk to you later. You washed your hair today too? I bet it looks all nice and moisturized, right? Yes, Paul, that is exactly what I did. I cleaned up for you guys. Of course. Topgolf is, right? Topgolf is great. You like my background? You know, it's been a work in progress. Jared, oh my goodness. We connected when I had just been in the house a few months and it was like, all right, am I doing this? Am I doing that? And I've done so much. So thank you. That means a lot, especially because coming from someone like you that I love your setup. I love when you post like pictures on Instagram and all your cool things. We just envy each other. Smart looking, right? You like that smart looking glasses? That's what you got to say. Listen, I have my smart looking glasses on. I have 2 pairs. My other pairs are upstairs, but this one's more of a sophisticated, cool, smart looking glasses. And then the other ones I have are like kind of like my Clark Kent. I'm just an all out nerd looking glasses. So Chris Gloss, champion. What's going on? Yes. 82 days to go. Consistency. Hey, girl. Hey. How are you doing? This time works for me. I have to pitch this afternoon. Would miss the stream otherwise. All right. That's what I am talking about. And Paul just went over on Facebook to remind you guys that if you want to hang out with the cool kids, come on over to YouTube because that is where it is at. So I have a little bit of time. I do have the timer on to keep me on track. Let me see, an hour from now. Yeah, because then if there's any last minute emails for the bank that I need to respond to, I can take care of all of that stuff before I take my drive up north on the turnpike. Gosh. Begrudgingly, listen, I was talking to Angie earlier today, and I was looking for every possible reason as to why I wasn't going to go. I was like, I'm feeling a little tired. I'm a little lethargic. I have stuff. Do I really need to go? I mean, it's a mixer. It's not like it's a bank required. Everything that I could have possibly. And Angie said, you know why you need to go? Because you committed. Because you already said you need to go. And so you're going to go. And I'm like, damn you. You're 100% right. That's exactly where I'm going to go because I already said I'm going to go and I don't have any real good reason as to not go. So whatever. Love you too, Evie. Gosh. They are Prism. I love the Ray-Ban Prisms. Love, 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 love them. No, and if Angie's still listening, she may not be because she literally, her shift starts at 4 and she's picking up the kids. So she is doing single mom duty, as those of you guys who are moms on here know. She's picking them up from the bus stop, taking them to the house. Her cousin is coming to babysit them, and then she's running back in the car to get to the job by 4 o'clock. So I don't know if she's listening, but no, we did not buy them, not because of my own fault. So that's what I'm going to say. So when we stream tomorrow, oh, she's working tomorrow night too. Well, when we stream tomorrow and you see her again, Paul, you can ask her why. Miss Eileen, how are you doing today? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. So we're going to get into it. Remember, on Monday, we talked about buying your own domain and talked about us being self-proclaimed domain addicts. So you guys know all about the domains and why it's so important to your own personal branding and your own personal marketing. Then on Wednesday, we took that to the next step and we talked about now that you have your own domain and you really want to capitalize on, look, she's still here. Paul, yell at her. She's still here. If you really, it is 100% your fault. If you really want to further your personal branding and your marketing, you should 100% be taking advantage of Rebrandly. You should have a Rebrandly account. You should set up Rebrandly with whatever domains you have. You can have up to 5 domains, separate domains that you add onto Rebrandly, and take any link that you are going to direct anyone to and put your personal brand on it. Right? So that's what we spoke about yesterday. And now today, we're going to take that a step further and we're going to talk about Calendly. And Calendly is not just for people, you know, coincidentally, I meet with people for the bank all the time and I have yet to create a part of it is fear, but I have yet to create a Calendly account to use as a mortgage loan originator because I'm afraid that people will just book themselves for calls that may not need to be appointments. Right. So I do a lot of like screening per se before we even get a scheduled time. And so I've been very hesitant as a mortgage banker I've thought about it and I'm like, will that make my life so much easier? Because I do go through the back and forth, but I feel like I need to do that screening, that initial conversation with the clients to find out, are they really ready to talk to me now? Or should I point them somewhere else or something to that extent? So I've been hesitant. I haven't done it. It's been I'm like kind of like on the fence, I don't know yet about that, but I do have it for my personal business. And it doesn't have to be, you know, anything in terms of like for us as content creators, it doesn't have to be an official business meeting. It could be if you are having guests on your show and you want to coordinate the timing with the guests, well, then set up your Calendly account. If you are having one-on-one meetings, if you're training, if you're mentoring, anything of any type of meeting, listen, one of my really good friends, I worked with her back when I worked at TD Bank. She was my mentee. We ended up becoming really good friends. She was sending me her Calendly. Sylvia can tell you stories because when Sylvia and I first became friends, I sent Sylvia my Calendly link last year. So Sylvia can tell you stories about, listen, it's not just business. It is the link. Don't send them the link until you're sure that I need to meet, right? Like exactly. That's why thank you so much for giving me that validation. Cause I'm like, do I need to? But I'm just so worried that if I create Calendly as a banker, people are just going to like, yeah. And all like my whole appointment from like my whole day from 9 to 5 will just be random bookings and I am good. No. So Evie is saying, yep, got a whole workflow based on using a scheduler to manage a live show with guests, 100%. So there's tons of automations that you can put through, sends out your link. And so that's what we're going to talk about today with going into Calendly and why you want to use Calendly. So let me just get into the right section. And, oh, wait, what happened to my the order. There you are. Hi, guys. Let's do some moving of the things for this particular scene, because I'm going to say it every time. I know how much you guys love my countdown timer. I know how much you love my countdown timer. So what's Calendly? You guys kind of have an idea already. It's basically a scheduling hub, helps get rid of the hassle of figuring out any potential scheduling conflicts between yourself and the other parties. And it takes all of that guesswork out of it. It figures out when you guys are both available. And it really just puts it on the person that you are looking to, or that is looking to schedule time with you. You can connect your calendars, depending on the type that you have. You can connect either one calendar at a time, or you can connect up to 6 different calendars. We'll talk about that a little bit further up. But you connect your calendars, you can put blocks of availability. So if you know, like for me, I know that I can't do any content creation stuff between Monday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I make myself not available. I do have blocks of availability between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. because I am willing, if someone is that much of an early bird, or if they're in a different time difference where it's later than where it is my time, I am willing to meet between 7 and 9. For instance, this morning, I did have a business meeting at 8:30 a.m., right? But then as soon as that 9 o'clock hits, I make myself unavailable, and then I start again between like 6, 7, and whatever it is. As you start to add things on your calendar, Calendly is going to see that. So when someone goes to your calendar, Calendly is going to read your availability based off of what you have with your calendar, and then lets that person schedule appointments with them. So it takes the guesswork out of scheduling. A big part of that is self-discipline on your end. And that's something that I'm still personally doing, of even if it's that you're not meeting with someone, if it's something that you want to do for yourself, if you are giving out a link to anyone else, make sure that you are disciplined enough and you are putting that on as a time block for dedicated time for yourself. So for instance, normally I leave Saturday and Sunday wide open, with the exception of my 100 days of live streaming, which I did put on the calendar every single day until June 16th. I think that's when it ends. So normally, and now I usually have Saturday and Sunday wide open, but this weekend I'm going to be finalizing my website and my masterclass. So I booked off from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on both Saturday and Sunday. And I just booked that personal time with myself. 1, to keep the commitment for myself, and 2, to have it on my calendar so that if someone wants to schedule something with me, they can't do that now during this weekend. So Evie has 100% the facts. If it's not on the calendar, it will not happen. We talk about that from a business perspective all of the time, whether it was with a business customer, if I was meeting with them, a client, or even when I was a mentor at other banks and I had my mentees, I used to say, if we don't put it on the calendar, we can say that we're going to talk or we're going to meet all we want. And like I said, it's so funny. I was so good with it last year when I was living with my brother. I did the same thing to both Sylvia and my brother. And it was something with my brother that he kept, I think I was helping him sell his phone, right? And he went and upgraded to Verizon. He didn't trade it in because I was like, nah, dude, I'll help you sell your phone. I'm going to help you get more money. Don't worry about it. And then we upgraded. He has the phone. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to post it. Every day it was, did you post a phone? Did you post a phone? I'm like, no, I keep getting, and he got so annoyed with me a week later. And he turns around and he says to me, do I need to put myself on that calendar thing that you have so that you can put my phone for sale? So that was 2 things. The first thing was that my personal branding and my marketing works because my brother had spent enough time with me at that point that he knew if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. And then he wanted something of me, and he just like kind of drove the point home. I did put it for sale. He didn't have to make an appointment with me, but it became very close to that. So kind of like, did you buy the domain? Paul, don't give me the shade. Oh God. Yes, you are one. I'm going to own all of that stuff today. All right. So those are some things with Calendly in really making sure that you are effective when you're using it. Some Calendly competitors, when I looked up a handful of different competitors, there were like top 10 lists. I didn't do the top 10. I used the ones that I know about, or the one that came up consistently on every list. So I was using Calendly last year. I let my subscriptions expire because you guys know that I kind of stopped doing content creation and I focused on, being in the new home and being in the new job. So I started again. And if you use the calendar app called Fantastical, they're from a company called FlexBits. They also just opened up a scheduling system very similar to Calendly. I am a premium Fantastical user, so that comes with the premium. So I was like, well, why pay for something extra that I can get with this one feature, right? It's like, all right, so I want to make sure that I'm cost effective as well. And if the Fantastical FlexBits scheduling system does pretty much everything that I wanted it to do, fine. Up until this morning, and we'll talk about that. But that is an option. And what I will say is that it's very cut and dry, just a scheduler. Then you have another organization called Sprintful, and then Doodle. I've never heard of the either two. I just wanted to give you some examples of competitors. We're really going to talk about Calendly, and I think almost all of us here use Calendly, or if not, we've absolutely heard about it. So that's what we're going to focus on. So why should you use it? I already said some of these things with why you should use it. Oh no, I wiped the timer out. I got the wrong one. Damn it. I know you guys are so excited. I pressed the hide of the wrong one and now it reset, and now I'm just going to leave it as is. Why should you use it? The one theme that you guys are going to hear throughout this week is your personal branding, marketing, and keeping yourself organized, right? So meeting with others while saving time, I already said, taking the guesswork out of the scheduling conflicts, eliminating that back and forth of, okay, I'm available Wednesday all day. And the person's like, well, I'm not available until Thursday, right? Like all of that email, text, conversation back and forth. Everybody's looking at it. Listen, here's my link. This is what my calendar looks like. They can have their calendar in front of them, and then they can schedule time with you accordingly. And you can keep working business as usual. It makes you look professional and trustworthy, right? So having a calendar, listen, how smart and intelligent do I look outside of having my smart and intelligent glasses? But how smart and intelligent and professional do I look if I have a client and I say, here, you want to book some time with me? Take a look. This is what my availability is. As soon as you find a date and time that works for you, it's going to automatically lock in that date and we are good to go. You can do integrations such as automatic Zoom scheduling or other video conferencing like Google Meet. And I'll show you that in the next steps, all of the different types of integrations that they have. So if you like to meet with people via Zoom, you can automatically set it up so that if they choose that they're going to meet with you via Zoom, then it's going to create the meeting in Zoom as well and send them the invite through Zoom. I also have, when I was using it, I'm going back to using it, but when I was using it last year, I also had it set up to send out my eCam invite link after the confirmation, because like Evie and I said, if you're using something like this for your interviews with eCam, then you can have it automatically send out that eCam interview link. And there's no, hey, did you send me a link? How do I even get onto these interview, right? So it takes a lot of shortcuts and a lot of that a lot of the processes that you would normally do. It automates it for you and it helps save time and just makes this whole concept of organizing your calendar and organizing your life more efficient. Another reason why you would want to use Calendly, or why you should be using Calendly, is as you are creating your schedules. Dr. Elo, what is going on? No, so I can't get out of your feed because of my 100 days. That's it. I'm going to be in your feed forever. What is going on? Okay. So going back to why you should use it, as you are creating your templates and as the individuals are scheduling their time with you, you can customize the messages that they receive before. You can also send out a customized email message right after or X amount of time after the meeting. So for instance, With my Calendly, if it was a client, a business client, and I had a meeting with them, I would have it set up after 30 minutes and just a generic thank you, their name for taking time to meet with me. If you have any questions, et cetera, et cetera. So you can just do some really nice personalization and take that personal branding and marketing to a whole nother level, creating different templates for different types of meetings. So I personally have a 30-minute discovery phone call, and then you can do a 60-minute call. You can do a 60-minute live interview, right? All of that good stuff. You can create different templates within Calendly, and then also customizing automatic reminders. So you can do automatic text reminders where it will text the individual, email reminders, things to that extent. So what are the costs? I put a lot of information here. There is a free plan. And the last, yesterday when we were talking about Rebrandly, I emphasized that the free plan should be more than enough for you, right? However, this is the one time where I'm going to say invest. There are the free options, and I just compared. There's 3 different options. There's your free, there's the $10 a month for the essentials package, or there's the $15 a month for the pro package. We're going to compare the free plan versus the pro. I looked at the essentials, and I think with all of you guys here as content creators, or if you're looking to just, step it up a little bit more, I would not even think about the essentials package. I would 100% say go for the pro. Really, Dr. Elo, that's amazing. See, someone that's experienced like Dr. Elo. Dr. Elo like has his own stream. He's doing his own thing. He's been with us, right? Like Dr. Elo's huge when it comes to content creation. Like he's no slouch, right? And the fact that you weren't using Rebrandly. However, the fact that you are using Rebrandly after my stream yesterday, you get all the sound effects. And that's even that's exciting. Aw, thanks. I'm glad to hear that, my good sir. So we're going to compare, like I said, we are going to compare the differences from the free plan versus the pro plan. And my personal recommendation would be to go for the pro plan. So you can do either monthly at $15 a month, or you know how they do. They want you to pay and get the bulk of the money up front, and they'll cut you a deal if you pay for the annual version. So there is, if you do the essentials, $96 a month, or the pro version at a year, and then $144 for the entire year. So you didn't know how it worked. All right, good. So then that makes me feel good. Thank you. I appreciate that. That means that, right, live streaming, the invoice is in the mail. Thanks, Paul. Well, that means that the class was well thought out, and I'm glad that I didn't do a half-assed job on Tuesday when I had the first time homebuyer seminar, because it would not have been as detailed as we went into yesterday. So that makes me feel happy. Thank you, Dr. Elo. I appreciate you. Aw, you're the best. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about the free version in Calendly versus the pro version and why I recommend it. First and foremost is the amount of calendar connections that you have. What does that mean? So if you have a Google Calendar, an iCloud calendar, or multiple calendars, right? So like I use Google for the most part as the hosting site per se, but then I have multiple calendars, right? I have my work calendar, which is just my bank calendars, my bank events. I have one for home. I'm actually now even thinking about creating a separate fitness/cycling calendar, especially now that we're coming into the season. All of these things are color coded. I also have my video production services. It's iDelgado Productions. That's its own calendar. When I was taking classes, I had a school calendar, right? So you have so many different types of calendars. Each category, so if it's a cycling event, right? So when I do the TD Bank 5-Borough Bike Tour on May 1st, that's going to go on my cycling calendar. When I have the first time home buyer seminars, that goes on my work calendar. Those are all things where my time is blocked off that I need Calendly to be able to see those calendars. So for situations like that, one calendar connection is not going to work. I need that 6 calendar connections. And chances are for all of you guys, you all are somewhat organized or trying to get someone organized. If being organized is one of your objectives, you absolutely need more than one calendar. You can't get organized with having one calendar. That's kind of like an oxymoron, right? Because you need to separate the types of events, and then you can just do a deep dive, like I said, with color coordinating and things like that. So you need more than one calendar. That's the first and foremost reason why you want the pro plan versus the free plan. Then the event types, meaning that you can have. So for instance, like I said, for me, I have right now, and I'm probably going to do some different, even more of event types. But right now I have 2 different types of events that people can book their time with me. I have a 30-minute discovery call where if someone is looking for some sort of consultation or some sort of coaching, I need to have a discovery call with you because I need to know what it is you're looking for. I need to see what level you are at, how much help you need, what exactly do you need help with, because then at that point with that discovery call, I can build out whatever package it is I'm going to build out for you. So that's my 30-minute call. If I know and we've already had the discovery call and we're having one of our, let's say, consultation sessions, well, that's a 60-minute call, right? So having 6 different types of event types, the one, again, also does not work for me. I would say 3 or 4. I'm probably going to add a couple more on there. I don't know if I need 6 different events types, but I'll tell you, as soon as I set up Calendly, 1 was not enough instantaneously. Todd says, when is the multi-calendar management live stream? Let me add that, because that is, I will add it to a Post-it. Todd, do you know about my Post-its obsession? If it's not on my Post-it, I can't do it for you. You do know about my Post-it obsessions because this is exactly how I showed you my Post-it. I made a promise to you.
Ho, ho, ho.
And then I made that happen. So you, sir, understand how Post-its work for me. So what I'm going to do is we will do, let me just write this down so I don't forget. Live streaming on multi-calendar organization. I might be able to fit that in next week. I'll take a look and we might be able to do that next week. So thanks for the idea, Todd. I appreciate you. India, you should add the topic of the day in the streams. You are, okay. Well, Paul, why didn't that message come through sooner? Paul, so now I have to get another one. All right, I will do that as well. And I did it once with Calendar and Canva, and then I was lazy. Topic of the day to the live stream titles. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the feedback. Feedback is a gift. You know what I'm saying? Feedback is a gift. Listen to your community. So I will do that. That is there. Okay, we are good. All right, I was planning to yesterday and fell asleep. You guys are funny. Dr. Ela, you know I appreciate you. All right, so let's get back to this. So we have, let me move. Okay, there we are. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to move me over this way. So the first 2, calendar connections, 1 on the free plan, event types 1 on the free plan. On the pro plan, 6, event type 6. The next 4 are strictly on the pro plan. You cannot get these features and benefits if you are on the free plan, right? So customizing email notifications and reminders, that is only available on pro. So I gave you guys an example of that. If you're meeting with a business customer or even someone that you're interviewing on your show, right? And you want to send them a pre-show checklist, you can customize your email to have that pre-show checklist. Then you can also customize an email once the meeting has already occurred, and you can customize the time frame, whether it's 30 minutes after, 24 hours after. You can choose what time frame that looks like after the meeting has occurred, and you can send out a thank you email. It was great having you on the show. You can do something like a poll and send out a poll. You know, if you feedback is a gift. So you can send out a survey. What worked well? Would they come back on the show? The possibilities are endless. But the point of this is that on Pro, you get to do all of that. So you can really take this personal branding to the next level for yourself. Same thing with text notifications. You can send out. And so Joel Foner and I had a meeting yesterday, and he set up text notifications. So it came through on my cell phone instantaneously. I met with Joel, right? So he was sending me the invite alerts. And so the text, because I'm always on my phone, who isn't on their phone, that's just an added plus. Because what that's going to do is that when someone, see you later, AV, I appreciate you, girl. Thank you for coming through. What that does for you with your customized notifications, your customized alerts and things like that is that the better you are, then you don't want to be stalker-ish, right? Don't be stalker-ish, but you want to be efficient. You want to be efficient enough and professional enough. You want to have open communication and consistent communication, because that one, you're the person who is on the other end of that scheduling, the person who wants to schedule time with you, right? Remember, they're taking time and they're asking to schedule their time with you. So they're committed to you, or you would hope. With these notifications, that's going to help them be even more committed. So for me, Joel had a handful of alerts and reminders. I was so appreciative because I did not forget it. I didn't overbook myself, and it did what it was supposed to do. You can, with the Pro plan, you can customize sending out custom links. So we talked about integrations, right? You can add your Zoom account so that when someone schedules time with you, if you add the Zoom integration, it will already automatically send out a Zoom invite. Well, you can do the same thing if you have a custom link. So for those of us here, I think almost all of us use Ecamm. We have the interview link. Well, now that's a custom link. So then you can tell Calendly to send out that custom link if you've created a custom event type solely for live streaming interviews, so that when the person books a time just for a live streaming interview, or like Jared, where Jared does podcasts, but Jared uses Ecamm for that. He wants the guest to call him on his Ecamm link. So now he's created an event type just for his podcast interviews. He sets Calendly up to send out the custom Ecamm link, and that's going to go out on the confirmation page. You only get that feature when you are on the Pro plan. And then additional information, which the theme of this week is personal branding and marketing. So when you're on the Pro plan, you get to actually upload your logo. So they remove the Calendly watermark completely, and then they can replace it. You can choose to replace it with your own brand colors, links, etc. So this is the one time where I will say, nope, I absolutely recommend that you not only you don't go with the free plan, and you don't go with the first lowest priced plan, but you actually, I would say, go a tier up and go with the Pro. $15 a month or $144 annually. That would be my personal recommendation. So now we're just going to talk about, how do you use it? How do you set it up? How do you use it? Very simply, you're going to create an account, and you're going to connect all of your calendars, depending on how you use, what calendars you use, whether it's Outlook, Gmail, Google, iCloud, whatever that good stuff is. You're going to create your account. I created the account by connecting my Gmail account, and then I chose all of the calendars. So like I mentioned to you guys, I do have a school calendar, but I'm not taking classes right now. I haven't taken classes in the last 3 years. So there's no need for me to connect that. Next year, if I decide to go back to school to take some additional classes, right, then I probably will connect that on there. But for now, I just pick and choose which are the most, because you only get 6 calendars. So which are the ones that you use all of the time, that you will always have stuff on. Then you start creating your meeting templates, and we'll go into that once we get into the actual demonstration of Calendly. You get to create your meeting templates. You absolutely want to integrate any of the accounts that you have, whether it's Zoom, Google Meet, your Ecamm interview link, etc. You want to customize it with your personal features. Then customizing your site. Like I said, with your brand, you can set up, if you have PayPal or Stripe, you can set that up so that if you want to instead of using a website, if you know that you have a coaching service, right? Like Carlos is here. Hey, Carlos, que lo que? How you doing today? Thank you for coming through. Right? But Carlos has his own business. If Carlos doesn't necessarily have a website, but he wants to charge someone for an hour session with him, he can have his PayPal / or Stripe account set up within Calendly, that when they make a payment, they can schedule time with him for an hour and book a 1 hour counseling session right then and there, right? So you can do that. And then you have your own, so you don't necessarily need your own domain. Calendly will let you customize their link. That's one. But then my personal suggestion, because we went over Rebrandly yesterday, my personal suggestion would be, once you get all of these other things set up and out of the way, that you have your different meeting account types set up, then you're going to go in, because Calendly does give you your own link. You're going to go back to Rebrandly, because it's all about personal branding and marketing. And you're going to rebrand those links, removing the Calendly, and you're going to use your domain that you purchased or you already have. And you're just going to do 30-minute session, or like the way I have it is I have Meet 30 and then I have Meet. So if the person just has the Meet link, then you're meeting with me for 60 minutes. If the person has Meet 30, that means that they're going and they're meeting with me 30 minutes. You get it. And of course, you start scheduling. So that is it in a nutshell. So now we can get into it. If you guys have any questions as I start to get back on the page, let me know. I'm going to take a sip of water. Un momento, por favor. And let's go to our share screen. You know what? Actually, I want to talk to you about my fiasco this morning, because it's pertinent to this conversation. And I did say I was going to have a conversation about it. So I stopped using Calendly, like I mentioned. I stopped using Calendly because I am a fantastical user for my calendar. And they created their own options for schedulings and meetings. I was like, well, how active am I really? Like, do I really need it? How often am I doing appointments and things to that extent? And so I was like, I'm not that active yet, right? Like, I'm not that back into the flow again. This was earlier this year. And so I was like, I'll take advantage of the fantastical website. And I'll show you that first. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It is very bare bones. It has worked. But then after what happened this morning, I'm like, yeah, stop being a cheap ass. Stop being a cheap ass, okay? Hold on.
Coño.
And pay up. Pay again. You paid last year the $145. Suck it up and pay it again, because there is absolute value in all of the features and the way you have your workflow set up, that what happened this morning won't happen. So what happened? Someone wanted to do a discovery call. It was someone through a virtual business networking thing that I do every other Thursday. And they wanted to do basically what we do in eCam, lower thirds, the way I have my bank stuff set up, right? They wanted to set up their lower thirds. They wanted to be able to have text on the box and do things like that. So I wanted to hear more of it. I wanted to hear what their business was about and see what the recommendation is. So we had our discovery call. We started talking last week where he was asking me questions. I sent them the 30-minute link that I created through Fantastical. He scheduled time with himself and it worked. The days that were blocked off, it worked the way I should have up until today. So the first problem was that for whatever reason, the alerts that I need, I personally need multiple alerts, because I'm the type of person that on Sunday, I'll look at my week ahead, but then I also need to know for every day the next day. So as I'm finishing off my bank day, I will browse my calendar. I'll peruse my calendar and see what I have going on the next day. Excuse me, because that helps for me to say, okay, do I really need to wake up at 6 a.m.? Because there are days that I have to wake up between 6 and 6:30. Because if my day starts at 9 o'clock, my first meeting is at 9:30, 10 o'clock, I got to be up because I like that morning routine. Or there's other days that it's like, all right, I can sleep until about 7:30, 7:45. So I absolutely have to look at my calendar the day before. I would prefer that I get alerts multiple times because sometimes I just don't do it. Sometimes I'm so caught up. Look at what happened on Tuesday, right? I had the first time home buyer seminar from 6 to 8. I jumped on the live with you guys from 8 to 9, and then I was done. I was toast. I was not thinking to look at anything with my calendar. So that's where having multiple alerts for me comes into place. I knew that this was going to be a Zoom session and the automation wasn't there. So here we are. It was 8:30. The meeting this morning, he scheduled time with me for 8:30. It was 8:36. I'm watching the news. I'm watching Good Day Philadelphia. I love Good Day Philadelphia. I'm watching Good Day Philadelphia with my coffee cup. I have one of the Ember cups that it keeps itself warm because I'm bougie. You guys should know that. With my Ember cup, my nice toasty coffee, just watching, seeing the events of what happened in Philadelphia. And I get a text message. Hey, Andy, are we still on for today? And I was like, And I look, and I completely missed the fact that I had an appointment in the morning. So now I'm like scrambling. My hair wasn't done. Like I didn't do any of that stuff. So now I'm scrambling to throw on an Ecamm hat. I'm like trying to get ready from the top up. I'm like, oh my God, running around. I was like, I am so sorry. And I didn't say that I forgot. I said my phone did not, because I knew I had this meeting with him. The phone didn't alert me, so it didn't remind me. I said, can you please give me 5 minutes? But then as I'm scrambling and running around, I'm saying to myself, I have my Zoom meetings set up so that the person automatically goes into the waiting room. And if I'm not there, I also get an email and a notification stating that there is someone in that person, whoever that person is in my waiting room. I didn't get any email notifications. So I'm scrambling, running around. I'm like, what happened? And what happened, the short and narrow is that I was not using Calendly. That is the reality. I was being cheap. And I'm not mad at it because it's one of those things that you don't know until you don't know. And then having that experience now, that helps me to better recommend it, because I'll be honest with you guys, I was going to recommend FlexBits over Calendly because of the pricing. And I know that like OBS is waiting for me to go over the Calendly, not Calendly, FlexBits, right? The fantastical app with how I organize myself. So there are people like Rob Valls, he uses Fantastical. Doc Rock uses Fantastical. So a lot of us use Fantastical to keep ourselves organized. So I'm like, all right, I was going to recommend that. Why spend double the money? Because it does the same thing. And you're wrong. It does not do the same thing. And this morning I fell into that trap. Thank God that he was very understanding. And I got into it. And I was able to save it. He hopefully will be a potential customer sooner rather than later. He said that he is going to sign up for my consultation services. So, I'm hoping that once he makes payment, me being late was not a negative impact on that, because it could have really hurt, right? Like for me personally, as a consumer, if you have me waiting, I don't know if I'm gonna follow through with the services. So I understand the importance of being on time and sticking to your commitments. And this morning I was mortified. So as I was prepping for today's live stream, I actually went in and made my payment for Calendly so that I can switch back over into Calendly, because that will not. It happens to me once, it will not happen again. So I did want to give you that story. Let's take a look now at my setup. Excuse me. So this is my Calendly here, what we're looking at. It's on the scheduled events types. So let's move some stuff over. Let's do what we do. Let's go over here. Hey guys, what's going on? Move my mouse over, and what we have, let me move my Ecamm Live program so I can keep an eye on you guys over here, and we're good. So the event types on the main page, you see I have two different event types. So the first thing that I want to have you take note of is right under, let me see. So I want to do this here, maybe. Yes. Let me close. All right. Is right under my thumbnail. You have my name. And then this is the link that you can customize in Calendly's description. So Calendly.com, Delgado Productions, that's what I left this. So the slug after the /, you can customize that and you can put that whatever you want. But because you have your own domain and because you're starting to use Rebrandly, what you're going to do is you're just going to use your domain / whatever that / is. Like I said, mine is /meet. If it's a 30-minute meeting, it's meet 30. If it's an eCamp, however you want to do that custom slug. But it does give you an option if you don't want to set up Rebrandly. Why, I don't know, but you do have that as an option. So let's make this a little bit smaller. All right. So that's the one thing. You can see here I have 2 different event types. I titled it. I have to update the titles because these are from last year. So you have your eCam live review and walkthrough, 30 minutes one-on-one, or your 60-minute one-on-one meeting. I can either share the links here or you can copy it and paste it. I'm going to click on each one individually. And these are all the features that you can customize. So what event is this? Here, you're going to put the name through. So if I just want to change this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to Discovery Call. Discovery Call, home, we'll go up. 30-minute Discovery Call. Cool. So that's what I want. And you see here, this was one of the things that I talked about with customization. So the location here, I was sending people to my eCam live link. I don't want to do that. So I'm actually going to edit that and I'm going to drop this down, right? So under custom, that's where you would put, if you're going to set up an eCam live interview, you would do custom and then you would choose your eCam live link. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose, and you have some options with Google Meet, a phone call, in-person meeting, right? These are all the things. We're going to do Zoom, update. And now what this is that when the person meets with me, it's going to automatically go into my Zoom account and it's automatically going to create that Zoom update. Okay. If you want to give some options, let's say I don't use Teams or Google Meet or something like that, but let's say you want to offer different options, you can put those things there and then the person can choose between, let's say, Zoom or Google Meet, etc. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to leave it. You can put in a description of what that is. So I'm not going to go into, I'm not going to make it perfect here for you guys in essence of time, but discovery call to understand your needs and so that I can create a custom package catered to you. And I'll go back and I'll fix it a little bit, right? But that's pretty good. Discovery call, custom package, blah, blah, blah. Event link, what do you want this to be labeled as? I'm just going to change this. Discovery call. If you're not sure of anything, you have the little eyes next to each one. And then this tells you what this will look like. So this event link URL, if you click on the web page, it'll actually show the specifics there so you can customize it. So we're just going to do discovery call. I had it orange for eCam. Let's say I'm just going to do yellow. Save and close. So now my discovery call meeting has been customized. Here you have some other options. When can people book this event? So how far out? So can they book it out 2 months in advance, 2 weeks in advance? That's going to be a personal preference thing because depending on how you do your schedule, some people only want their schedule booked out 2 weeks in advance or 30 days in advance. For me, I left it 60 days. I think that's the default. I left it 60 days because it's like, okay, if you want to book time with me 2 months in advance, that's cool. Whatever works. The more time I have for things, especially with the things that I do with the bank, the more time I know and the longer it's on my calendar, the better it is. But that's also why I also like the feature, and we'll go over this with Fantastical, of being able to add multiple alerts. Because depending on how far out it is, Sometimes I will ask for Fantastical to remind me 2 weeks ahead, a week ahead, a day ahead, and I put multiple alerts depending on the event and how far out it was originally booked. You can specify the date range. You can do indefinitely into the future. I just left the default. This particular meeting, we said it was a 30-minute discovery call. Here is where you would choose the time frame. So is it 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45? Naturally, we're going to do 30 minutes, but you can customize there. And then this is where you can do a little bit further of your own availability with calendars. And let me bring down, hold on, because I didn't bring over the comments. So I want to make sure I bring the comments over this way. I should use that for people to book me. You, Paul, 100%. Like, I know that you're joking, but you should 100% use that if they absolutely need you, right? Like if I know that I have a really important stream that it's going to be fairly busy on, or, you know, like when, let's say with the Stream Deck stuff, when I start really promoting that, and if I know that there's going to be a good amount of people on there, reach out. I'm going to reach out. And, or if I already know that you have this in place and it's a stream that I know I would rather not get away with you not being there, I will 100% use that link, right? So like we know, we talk about Mondays, where sometimes Mondays may be tough for you because you're on ENN. So I plan to do my streams without you and I'm good to go. But if it's something where I'm like, no, I really want you to be there, listen, create that. Like I'm telling you, I'll do that. So, let's see. So then here, this is what I was saying in this section itself. So you can do using an existing schedule. So that was a schedule that I made. You can do custom hours. And then here's my working hours, right? So like I have to adjust this because this was what I did last year. So now I have to match it to what worked for me this year. But you can see on Monday, I didn't mind meeting with the person from 7 to 10. After 10, now that's dedicated solely for the bank. I'm actually going to cut that back and I'm going to stop it for 9. And then I'm willing to meet people from 6 o'clock all the way to 11 o'clock. That is going to change as well. So I'm actually going to shorten that and put that from 7 p.m. all the way through 10 p.m. Because what that means is that if someone can book themselves through 10 o'clock my time, meaning that if it's a 60-minute timer, then, or a 60-minute event, that means that that meeting won't end until 11 p.m. If I leave this as is, if someone books themselves through 11 o'clock, then that meeting won't end until 12. That's not going to happen. You guys know I love my sleep. No. So I just have to update these working hours. And if we go in, you can set the custom hours. So that's what I did. So you have your existing schedule, which when I set up Calendly originally, I created that. But now I want to go in and I'm going to create my custom hours, and I can either delete them if I want to delete this in its entirety. So let's say Tuesdays, I don't want to be available in the evening at all, because technically on Tuesdays and Thursdays, between my 100 days of live streaming and between the podcasting time, recording time with me and Angie for Red Light, Green Light, those days are completely blocked off. So I'm not going to make myself available on Tuesdays anymore. The same thing on Thursdays. Oh, so now we're good to go. And then if I just want to change this, I'm not going to do it for every day, but let's say this is what I'm going to do. Check this out. So on Mondays, I'm going to go from 7 to 9. And now we're fine. And let's say I want to duplicate this. So now I'm just going to copy the times, and I'm going to duplicate all of these times for Monday through Friday. I'm going to hit apply, and it adjusted everything for me. So I didn't have to go every day and change it from 10 to 9. I just changed one. I applied it to every one of those dates, and now we're good to go. So let's do the same thing for my weekdays. So for my weekdays, and it added Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's fine. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to change my weekdays to 10 o'clock. I'm going to copy. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this on Wednesday and Friday. And then I'm just going to delete Tuesday. I'm going to delete Thursday. And now here we are. Now I have my updated availability for the most part. Saturdays and Sundays. I'm going to figure out what I want to do for Saturdays and Sundays. But this looks good, right? So we're good there. There's nothing else here that I want to do. You can do a list view, or if you want to do a calendar view to see what it looks like on a calendar basis, all of those things, that works. And I could have either saved it as a new schedule. Let's say I know that for April, I wanted to have that availability for whatever. You can save as a new schedule so you can have multiple schedules. I'm just going to leave this as is. And then here's some more. Want to add time before. So do you want to add like a cushion, a bumper of time before and after? Why would you want a bumper of time before and after? Depending on what you're doing, I absolutely would say yes, add a bumper if you need preparation. So let's say for my Ecamm Live, I'm scheduling, I don't need a bumper, but I'm scheduling where if someone comes in as a guest, like when Lewis came on and when Gretchen came on, they came on at least 10 minutes before the scheduled stream, right? So I'm going to schedule that. So instead of 7 o'clock at night, I scheduled for them 6:50 p.m., right? That's the appointment time. But in retrospect, like the call that I had this morning where that was a sales call, well, that was, I would need a bumper to prepare for that time. And so I would do before the event, I want to add, let's say 10-minute prep. So that no one can basically, that will allow that no one can basically book back-to-back interviews, because although it looks like I'm free, I'm not, because there's prep work I need to do before. Again, depending on the type of call, I may need to finalize notes from that discovery call that I may need to send to the client immediately afterwards. So I may want to do a bumper afterwards to give myself sufficient time, because although the call may be done, the appointment may be done, my work as, let's say, the consultant may not be done, and I may need to do time to do more things. So that's some reasons why you would want to add bumpers. You can do some availability. So when are the increments? Meaning, do you want it to start on the hour at every hour? Do you want it to start on 6:05? Like can they book at 6:05, 6:15, 6:10? Or do you want it to keep it where people can only book on the hour every hour? I left it every 30 minutes. So a person can book time at either 6 or 6:30, 7 or 7:30. If we change that to 15-minute increments, then a person can book for themselves at 6, 6:15, 6:30, 6:45. That's what this section here means. I like it every 30 minutes to keep it clean. And then invitees, basically this was another thing for me, because sometimes with the bank, my scheduling can be a little bit more fluid. Like for instance, as I started doing today's live stream, they just scheduled a meeting for Monday, which is very close. That's 2 business days before. So those things kind of happen. So what this means is that I won't let somebody schedule time with me the day before. I need at least, let's say 48 hours. You can change that, right? So if you want to schedule time with me tomorrow at 4 p.m., because it is now 4:05, you will not be able to schedule time with me at 4 p.m. It would need to be later. I want at least 24 hours notice, because of the way I organize myself, that at the end of the day, I look at everything and I look at my calendar multiple times throughout the day. So that bumper is imperative. Okay. And then the maximum event of loud events per day for this type. What does that mean? That means that if 3 people, let's say on a Saturday, 3 people have already booked time with me on Saturday, if you are a 4th person coming to book time with me, I will not, even if my schedule is wide open, on Saturdays, I won't do it because I want time for myself, right? So that's why I put 3 events of that type on there. So if you know that on the weekdays, you only want to allow, if you have a very short window, you only want to allow 1 type event to be scheduled, you can put those limitations in as well. Automatically detecting the time zone, that's important, right? Because you have someone like myself, I'm on the East Coast, and then someone like Paul, where Paul is on the West Coast. So having it automatically detect the time so that the scheduling works perfectly for both ends is crucial. And then a secret event. Hide this event on your main scheduling page. Only invitees who have this, I don't listen. I mean, there may be reasons why you want it to be a secret. If you're doing a surprise party that you share a calendar with your partner with, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so we're good to go. I'm going to save that section there. So that's the event itself. We did when can people book this event? And then you have some additional options. Before I go into the additional options, I see that Paul, Todd, you guys as your names are always, and I'm looking at Paul, but then it's Todd. And I see that Paul answered the question, but I'll bring it up anyway. Is there a way to have an URL that expires? A musician wanted to be on the podcast, yet he waited 4 weeks to use my Calendly link. Workaround would be to create a Rebrandly link that you would just delete. Exactly. West Side, what's going on? Yeah. Link would be too many. So, Todd, I feel like it would be. So I would think you would want to mess around with these sections here. When can people book this event? So for someone like you, let me look back at that again. He waited 4 weeks. So then that's what I would say. So if you don't want someone, if you want to send out, so I would say create a specific link, right? A specific event. And then you can say that they can't schedule this type of event with them no more than 1 week out. So that they only have 1 week to book this. I would say mess around with this feature here with the date. And then also with the additional rules for availability. Can they schedule within? They can't schedule within. So mess around with those two and see if that helps, okay? So then let's go back to Invitee Questions. So then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel that. I don't want to make any changes. Here under the additional options is further customizations that you can do when you have certain things. So obviously you want to know their name and email. If they're going to add guests, prepare. I would say ask them. Might be a use for the secret event, right? Maybe. They can share. And then I always say prepare anything that will help the meeting. Let's say if I'm doing a consultation call for someone like the person this morning where he met on a business networking event. He doesn't know anything about, he's never heard of OBS. He's never heard of Ecamm, right? So I knew more or less what the purpose of the call was, right? There was an introduction made to me. So I already had some sort of ideas. So something like this is adding a new question I would ask. And I've had it set up, maybe on the 60-minute one I have it set up, but I would say, what camera do you own? What phone do you own? Do you have any gear such as an external microphone? Do you have, any cameras or things like that? Because then that'll help me better know how far is this person or how much do we really have to do? So like this person that I spoke to this morning has their own podcast. So they have their own microphone. They have a green screen set up, right? So they have some stuff already that they're using. They just need kind of a fresh idea and fresh outlook. So when I was showing them what we can do in Ecamm with overlays, text overlays, the transitions and things like that, setting up scenes and understanding why you would want a scene for X, Y, and Z, because he has some of the tools, he already had a semblance. Right? So being able to ask those questions, this would tie into the bumper work, the 15-minute pre-work that I would want before the meeting, so that I can really take a look at this here and I can say, okay, I understand where this client is at. Let me put together a list, right? So if it's someone that doesn't have anything, it's here's my kit.co, because here's some of the tools that you may want to use, right? So they can answer one line, they can do multiple lines. You can have radio buttons meaning like a yes or no. So you can ask a question of, do you currently own a microphone? And then the radio buttons of yes, no, right? Check boxes, phone numbers. So as you start to play with it and as you start to think out the box, you can really customize and capitalize how effective your scheduling can really be and like nail down. For me, and I do this a lot with the bank, I love the clients that come from a nonprofit housing agency and they have already taken their first time home buyer course, that they have that HUD certificate, because that client is already going to come prepared with a full financial package because that's a part of getting that first time home buyer certificate, versus someone that knows that they want to buy a house and they're literally starting from scratch. So if I know the difference between the two and I have a client that is fully prepared, now when I have that one-on-one call with you, I can truly spend time talking to you about the product, the interest rate, how long it's going to take, where you're looking to buy, right? I can have a really good meat and potatoes call versus someone who doesn't have any of the financials together. They don't know what their credit score is, right? That's more of an exploratory call and informational versus someone else who may be instantaneously ready. Lining up your questions here before they schedule time with you or as they're scheduling time with you, that you force them to answer these questions once they actually get to meet with you, will help you create a really good, effective meeting where you maximize your time, right? Because time is money. So the more prep you put into this ahead of time, the better that it is as it's happening. What is going on? What is going on? Hey, Ashley, how are you doing today, Ash? What is going on? What's going on? Prepping the client and setting the tone for the meeting, right? You already know. Listen, and that is imperative for me. Like, I joke around with you guys, but when it comes to the bank, y'all don't want to play with me. And if Gigi was here, Gigi would be able to tell you, because we had a great one-on-one mortgage conversation yesterday. So she can tell you how prepared I'm about my business. Okay, so I just wanted to give you some examples of why you would use the question line and having different types of options with the preparation for the meetings. I'm looking at the time because we're at 4:15. We're definitely way over, but this is good information. So I'm not rushing. I just need to hold myself accountable because I have to be on the road by 5 o'clock. Okay. So you have that section for invitee questions and then any workflows. So let's look at this. So what are the workflows? Some of the workflows, kind of like I mentioned to you already, where we talked about sending out text messages, right? Sending out a text message notification is a part of your workflow. So here you can see an email reminder to the invitee 4 hours before the event starts. I want to send an email to the invitee. I need to send a text to myself because what did I tell you guys? Sometimes, so had I not been cheap this morning or previously at the beginning of the year, let me not say this morning, had I not been cheap at the beginning of the year and had I re-upped my Calendly account and not solely relied on the FlexBit scheduling, I would have gotten a text message 4 hours before. So if the meeting today was at 8:30, I would have gotten a text at 4:30 a.m. And what that means is that when I was sitting watching Good Day Philadelphia with my coffee, perusing Instagram and watching TV, I would have seen my text message and I would have said, oh, I don't have time to watch Good Day Philadelphia. I need to get ready for my call. So I am back on using Calendly, but here you can customize how often or how soon before the event you want it to go. Booking confirmation, once it's been booked and it's been confirmed, I'm going to send text messages. So when the new event is booked, immediately send a text invite to the invitee, text to the invitee. And then once the meeting is done, I like to send thank you emails for both of my events 30 minutes after the event ends. And then I customized that email so that as soon as it goes, we're done, within 30 minutes, they're getting a thank you email for taking time out of their busy days to meet with me. All right. So those are some workflows. You can add more workflows there. Notifications and cancellation policies. So you can customize all of this stuff. An event will be created in your calendar. Your invitee will be added as an attendee. You can switch the email. Here it tells you it requires Google Office Exchange with the availability. So you have to give them access. If we click on personalize, here is where you can personalize what those events look like. So you see, I wanted to do the full name, my name. You can change some of that stuff, and then that's the title. So if Ashley schedules time with me, in the body title, it's going to be Ashley Schuller plus India Delgado, and then what the event is, 30-minute discovery call. We're going to, whatever description that I've typed in at the beginning of this live stream via Zoom. And then if there were any questions and answers that she had on there, that's going to show up in the body. And we're both going to get that, right? So those are some of the customizations that I did here. This is a new feature. Apply your messages to multiple event types, text message templates, email reminders. So you can turn all of this stuff off. I haven't messed with this, so I have to come back in. If you want to have a cancellation policy, you can include cancel and rescheduling links in notifications. So I think when I jumped on his podcast last year, I actually had to reschedule. He had this turned on so that when I had to reschedule, I actually went to the notification email and I was able to reschedule instantaneously. And then I text him and I said, hey, by the way, I have to reschedule. I already went into your link and I've scheduled a new date and time that works for me. And because I used the link, he already knew. He was like, yep, I've already gotten the confirmation. Thanks for letting me know, right? If there's anything here that you want to put for the client or the person meeting with you, you can do that. Then you have your confirmation page. So your Calendly confirmation page, or if you want to redirect them to a separate site. So if you have like a website, you can do a redirect to that website for whatever that is. Let's see. I have this turned off, display button to schedule another event if they want to schedule another event, if you want to add custom links. And then I haven't set it up here, and I probably wouldn't because I have now my Kajabi website where if someone's going to schedule time, right? So like this morning, like I said, if that turns into a sale, I already told him I'm sending him to my website for the packages that we discussed, and then he'll make payment through there. What's really good with Kajabi is that Kajabi has built-in integration with Calendly. So with Kajabi, you can do your own. I did do my own custom links, but now I have to go back that I turned my Calendly back on. I have to go back into Kajabi and update it, sign in with my Calendly account. So like that with this particular client, once he makes payment and he buys the consulting package with me, I'll get the notification and he can immediately schedule time with me according to my calendar and what we have set up. But if you wanted to do it here, if you have, let's say, a circumstance where you do want to pay, let's say like with Paul, I tell Paul he should be charging people. So if it's a really important event, and Paul does all this Mr. Moderator stuff for free, right? And if you want to support Paul, it's the Paul Duncan, buy me a coffee. Please support Paul if he has moderated for you, the Paul Duncan on the buy me a coffee site. But if it was a really big event that you wanted Paul to moderate for, and if Paul starts using this, Paul can now have it of, hey, whatever it is that he wants to charge an hour, $25 an hour, $50, whatever it is, right? But he can set that up for the payment here that then, hint, hint, Paul. I'm just saying. All right. So that's that there. Let me see. So this is editing the types one-on-one. The other thing that I want to show you here is if you want to see what this looks like from the person who's scheduling time from you, you want to click on this link over here where it says view live page. We're going to open up another page. And now you see I've customized this page. I've put in my personal logo. So if you do not put your own logo in personal branding and marketing, if you do not put in your personal logo, the Calendly link will be there. Well, I'm not here to market for Calendly. I'm here to market for India and I Delgado Productions. So I customize that there. You can see that I have my thumbnail picture thanks to the great Keith Pelzer, one of my new favorite thumbnail pictures. And then what this is showing here is that this is showing the days that I am available, right? So we have, let's see, let me look at this. So we have people can schedule time with me tomorrow. And basically based off of this availability, check this out. I don't have availability tomorrow in the morning, but they can schedule time with me tomorrow from 6 to 6:30. But because I have the live streaming scheduled on my calendar from 7 to 8, and I probably should change that, they can schedule time with me at 8. So that block, because I just have an hour blocked off on my calendar, I need to adjust that, right? So this part here is what I was saying in the very beginning. about being diligent with your own scheduling, being very realistic and being very true to yourself with your own scheduling, because we already know, look at today. Today, I'm already at an hour and 20 minutes. And since I'm at an hour and 20 minutes, if I only have an hour scheduled, blocked off on myself for the 100 days of live streaming, if someone tries to book themselves at 8 o'clock, chances are I'm probably still on the live stream. So I need to adjust that, because you don't want to have scheduling conflicts, and that discipline starts with me. So we have that there. You can see it says web conferencing details provided upon confirmation. And then this was here, discovery call to understand your needs. That's what I edited while we were at the beginning of these pages. Just so you can see from the outsider's perspective of scheduling time with you. So we're going to close that. The other thing that I want to show you, so we're just going to go back home, because obviously the event types are going to be the same, right? So whether it's 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and if you do a new event type, you're just starting from scratch. So you can do the same thing, what we just went through, but now you just have, is it a one-on-one? Is it a group meeting, etc. So I want to show you guys as people start to, I don't have scheduled events because I'm not currently using this, but if you want to see what you have in a bird's eye view, you can check that out there, right? You can see what people have already scheduled with you. If there's anything pending, these will be my past from last year, right? So you can see Gigi at one point used this, Aubrey used this, right? Because that's what I was using last year. And then you can also specify a date range if you want to see what appointments that I have in the month of June of last year, so that you can narrow it down. You have your workflows. So that's what I was showing you before. That's where you would edit the text messages and things like that, the before emails, the after emails for thank yous. And so I want to go to integrations. These are all the things here that I would say you absolutely want to set up in the very beginning. So first and foremost, if you have a Zoom account and you know that you're going to be meeting with people via Zoom, then you want to log in and integrate your Zoom. WebEx, like we use that at the bank. At the other bank I was at, we were using Teams, right? So if I wanted to integrate this, I would log in here. We use Salesforce, but they haven't subscribed to like that additional feature. Our Salesforce doesn't integrate yet with our calendars, but apparently it's in the pipeline. So that's something that if I decide to use Calendly for the bank, once they integrate Salesforce with it, I may, because that would actually help me with what I'm supposed to do with tracking and stuff on the bank end. And then this was what I mentioned about Stripe and PayPal, right? So if we go back to like my example with what I was saying with Paul, if it's bigger events that he's moderating for, like, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 attendee events in the chat that he's going to moderate for, then he can set up his Stripe payment here. And then just some other stuff, right? Other calendar connections that you have, Slack, all of that good stuff. So you have your integrations, and that's pretty much it. Your account here, this gives you your calendar integrations, right? So I have my Google, my Gmail, if I wanted to add in. So you can see that my Google account, I have my work, my home, India work, and then my regular one. Then what calendar do I want it to go to? I want it to go to my iDelgado Productions calendar. So specifying and working which calendars you want is good there. And so that is it in a nutshell. If we click on create, I do want to show you this. Excuse me. Meeting poll is new. Schedule a group meeting after offering times for a vote. That's pretty cool. So if there are multiple people that you're meeting with, let's say like in a situation like mine for the bank, or let's say even with eCam, if you're bringing on 3 different guests. So like here was an example with next week, and Katie did already, eCam has started promoting it. So the cat's out of the bag, Paul. But next week we're ending off Women's History Month, and it's going to be me, Evie, Mary Lou, Mandel, and Katie. And we're going to be doing a Women in Tech interview panel. And we were trying to figure out everybody's availabilities. So Katie was trying to coordinate on which one of us can do what day at what time. So something like this would have been a great idea to do instead of waiting on email replies. Katie could have scheduled a group meeting after offering times for a vote. So sending out because they sent me 2 dates, sending out this, but then she had to gather all the emails and wait for everybody and figure out what day works best. This poll might have been a really good option, right? So if you choose, so I'm apparently unavailable. So here's my calendar between work and what I have this week. So apparently I have availability at 10 o'clock at night. Or apparently, no, I'm not available. I don't know why. Next week, do I have availability at all next week? Okay, yeah. So I'm available here. So so Saturday I'm available. So let's try this out here. So you can choose multiple dates. So let's say I want to choose Saturday at 11, and then I'm going to do Saturday at 1. So I can do 40 different times. So I gave 2 times on one day for 30 minutes, the meeting name, the location, if it's going to be kind of through Zoom, and then reserve times. Put placeholders on your calendar for all offered times until one of them is booked. And then, so I'm going to do that, publish meeting poll, and now I can share the link. So if I want to share the link, or if we view the live page, that's one thing that I love about Calendly as well, that I get to see it from the person who's booking time with you, from their perspective. Because it's like, well, do I like the way that this looks? How does this really translate to the other end? Because that's the most important thing. It's not from you, because in your mind, it always looks great. But from the other person's mind, can they understand it? Does it make sense? So here you can see. So I either have 1 or 2 options. I'm going to send this to Katie because I know that she does this type of stuff. Paul, you can tell her I was talking about her during the live stream as well. But this is really great when you have those type of circumstances. So for someone like Ecamm, that they are constantly looking to interview multiple people at the same time, and the biggest thing is that availability for that, then this meeting poll section would be really great for someone like me from the business perspective. If let's say and I've had to happen, not a lot, but I have had to do group calls with the real estate agent, with the attorney, and with the title company. Let's say the deal was like going crazy and we needed to figure it out, or even an exploratory call between the realtor, myself, and the client. Well, this is where I would see myself sending out a poll, giving different days of availability based off of my options, sending it to the realtor, sending it to the client, and then once everybody votes, then we figure out, okay, this is the best time and date for everyone. So that's really cool. I like that option there. David, you are very welcome. I'm glad to hear that. So now you use it. What do you use? David, let us know. I talked about some competitors, so I would love to hear what you use. I love Calendly. So there's that. Can I get out of here? All right, so we did that. Let me see. I want to create. And then, I've used one-off meetings a lot as well, because one-off meetings is, let's talk about this week on Saturday and Sunday. I'm wide open, but I scheduled time with myself because I need to actually finalize my website and the master classes for the Stream Deck, right? Like this was my absolute deadline. And so I scheduled both Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I booked time with myself on my calendar where that's what I'm going to be doing. Well, let's say someone reaches out to me and I'm going to make an exception, right? It's a paying client, whatever it is, and they really need me. Well, now I can look at my calendar, and based off of looking at my calendar, then I can go ahead and I can say, all right, all of these times, there must be something going on in my schedule because I'm apparently unavailable all of these times. Oh, I know why, silly girl, because the date's passed. That's why I'm unavailable. But so let's say I tell them, so you see, this was the time that I booked Stream Deck Masterclass recordings, but I want to make an exception. So I'm going to offer for them to meet here. Well, now I put it there, and that's a one-off meeting that I'm doing for them. And you see it does one-off meeting again, and you can go through all of that stuff. So I've used it. They also have an app that I've done all the time. When David and I first became friends, I was helping him with Ecamm 2 years ago, and we did on the app, it was and I don't know if they changed it, but it was called ad hoc meetings. And I would schedule ad hoc meetings with David all the time where he would text me. I would look at the calendar, and all I would do is just select it here and then send him the link, and he would fill out the rest of the information, but he was only allowed to choose, like he wouldn't be allowed to choose the date. It was an ad hoc meeting of this is the time that I have. So you can also have control and dictate specific times as well if you need to do that on a one-off basis. Can I go back? Because I don't want to do this. And is there anything else? That is pretty much it, guys. So we did the meeting poll, the event type, we went over that. New event type, we've gone over that stuff. It is 4:30. So I am going to come back over here. Hey, you guys. And let's come back to the main. And we are pretty much good to go. That was a thorough, I enjoyed that one. You can tell. You're using TidyCal. Got it from AppSumo for a lifetime price of $19. That's not bad. If we go back, let me see. TidyCal, was that one of the ones? The competitors? It might have been one of the competitors, but I didn't put it on here. I think I remember when I was looking at the competitors of the different names. So good to go. Organization and structure, 100%. Hey, girl. Hey. Thank you for coming through. I am all about being organized and structured. And when I'm not organized and when it's not on my calendar, I'm like having a whole cow. And it needs to work the right way, because if not, things like this morning where I completely miss an appointment happens, and that is no bueno for business. So I hope that you guys found this useful. I hope that it was helpful. If you have any questions with anything with Calendly, or if we just take it back from the beginning of the week, if you have any questions with creating your own domain, purchasing your own domain, using said domain in Rebrandly and creating custom links, organizing your life and your calendar, and preparing the client so that you can have a successful meeting, reach out to me. Let me know. I will be more than glad to assist. I hope that you found this valuable and helpful. Tomorrow, we will be back at our regularly scheduled time. And let me just take a look. What do I got for you? I think tomorrow we're going to look at Calendly altogether, just from a calendar perspective. Fantastical, not Calendly. I keep saying fantastical. Yeah, we can do fantastical. Todd, I don't know if you're still on. I'll send you a message. Because tomorrow was supposed to be fantastical. So, I appreciate you guys. We will catch you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m., regular scheduled programming. Peace out, y'all. Thank you. I appreciate you. 18 days in, 82 days to go. All right, y'all.